Hey, what's going on? It is at the letters for Thursday, October 29th. Arden Zwelling, Ben Nicholson-Smith. Our producers are Mike Tassoni and Christian Ryan. And there is one other guy on the screen with us. He's got his gamer headset on.
Sammy.
Look at him.
Ready to crush some noobs, boys.
Yeah, old school ATL fans will recognize that voice at least. I don't know if they ever saw you. It's Sam McKee, OG producer of ATL. What's going on, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just happy to see your faces over this virtual world we live in. Both have spectacular backdrops there. Beautiful art for you, Arden. For you, Ben. Not quite sure what those are. They look maybe like a like some sort of diploma, or I can't really make it out. But I got some nice art too. So we're the art boys.
Do. You're looking sharp there, Sam. It's great to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a little old, man. You might want to update that. It's very like your mom's house type of thing, right?
That's the look we're going for, dude. Perfect. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Thank you.
So we bring Sam on because we have to recap our 2020 over-unders this week on ATL. The bill has come due from this 60-game season, and who better than to do that than Sam McKee, who produced many an over-unders episode back in the day. Many an Arden defeat was had at your hands, Sam.
Well, I feel like your problem was always like, I want to be just like, I'm all heart. Like, you're just always going for the gusto, and you want it. And Ben was always a more reasonable one. And I feel like that was sort of the dynamic on the over-unders every year.
Well, Sam, you are in for a different kind of year because Arden's takes were entirely too reasonable this year.
I know.
Yeah, right, because you've gone through it. But man, you were so Arden was just taking these reasonable lines, and like I can't argue with that. That's been my strategy for years, so I can't criticize it. But the fact is, man, like those bold reach for it takes were hard to find this year.
That doesn't sound like me.
I will say that it was a bit of a role reversal. Definitely a bit of a role reversal. Yeah,
it was.
Surprised,
so I don't remember any of this. Do you remember any?
Yeah, I remember a couple of them. I remember the Biggio patience one because that was one that I tracked in the course of the season. And I do remember the feeling of I was going out on a limb. I think I was bold on Vlad, which probably didn't pay off. And I think you were really reasonable, Arden. And I know I've won a few of these over the years, but I'm kind of worried. I think this might be the year that you win, and I'm not happy about that.
Well, you didn't win last year's. That's all I know.
No,
you didn't win that. No.
Yeah, dude, we had a tiebreaker. Go back, check the tape. Yeah.
We did have a tiebreaker. Yeah. Did we ever tabulate those? I don't even remember.
Yes, of course we did.
Oh, did we? And I lost the tiebreaker?
Yes.
All right, boys. So you want to get started here?
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's do it, Sam.
All right, so the first one that you guys did was Hyunjin Ryu ERA over-under, and you guys set the number at 3.70, and he came in at a 2.69, which was a nice year for him, obviously. Arden went under, and Ben went over, so that's 1 point for old Arden.
Oh, man.
Wow. I'll take that.
He was great. He was really good.
Incredible. Yeah, what a sign. Insane. Yeah, that seems high that we set it that high.
It does, yeah.
Well, your reasoning was the division, and like a new league, and playing against all the same competition over and over. And your reasoning sounded great, but you're just wrong. So
yeah, and you know what? If we were to set this, if we have a Ryu over under next year, I would be more comfortable taking a low number for him. Just having seen him all year, you see the way that he manages the running game. You see how he fields his position, limits hard contact. Like you kind of get a better understanding of why he's so good.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. The next one was a little more, I would say a little more liberal. You guys set the Nate Pearson K per 9. You guys set the over-under at 10.7. And the actual was 8. And Ben took the over, which, oh boy, Arden was under. So 2-0 Arden with the Mr. Reasonable off to a hot start.
This is not good, folks. This is not good.
Unders win the over-unders.
Yeah.
Always go under.
You always have to go under.
But like, how many innings did he even throw?
I can't remember. Not many.
Right?
And he was hurt. I mean, I'm not saying that I deserved a better fate in this one because I probably was too bullish. But man, he definitely was dealing with the elbow flexor issue at points this season.
It's funny to think about the fluctuations in the knee. Remember after his first start, right? Like his first big league start, and it was like, oh my God, right? And then all of a sudden he's hurt and he can't find the zone and comes back out of the bullpen. This is just not the season I was expecting from Nate Pearson.
He pitched 18 innings in the regular season.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, so tiny sample.
Yeah.
We would have both taken.
Right? 2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Two innings in the playoffs in game 2. I want to say, Yeah, in relief when like the game was essentially already over. But
Right.
Yeah. All right. So the next
All
one was
right.
you got
Early
the
lead.
next one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, cool. The next one is Ken Giles saves. And you guys set the number at 11.5.
Oh, no.
And the actual number was uno, 1. Ben went over, Arden went under. Unders always win, boys.
Nice.
Unders always win.
Wow.
Why did I take the over? What possible reasoning did I have?
I can't even remember. It was flimsy. It was flimsy at best.
Man.
Yeah. Arden's reasoning was like, there's not many games. Like, that's a lot of games for them to have to be in a safe situation. So,
no. Arden is destroying me here.
Yeah, it hasn't been a hot start. I'm not going to lie to you.
Partly also would have been like, I don't think they're going to win that many games.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. At the end of this, I'm sure we did a win total, right?
Yeah.
And I did not see them winning as many games as they did.
We both took the under, I think.
Yeah. So I think that would have been part of my reasoning too.
All right. So the next one is Tanner Roark, home runs allowed. And you guys set the number at 9.5. And the actual was 14, fellas, which is a ton of dingers for a 60-game season. But Arden took the over on 9.5, and Ben under lost.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What were we saying about it coming in, Sam? Do you remember?
That he's going to pitch a lot of innings, and that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard competition. That was a lot of your reasoning for a lot of this stuff, was the sort of hard competition in the hard division against those guys. And Arden said because it was the Yankees, and I believe you mentioned the Red Sox, just about how many home runs are going to be hit against Tanner. And Ben it was more of a with Ben, he was talking about how he's not going to get as many chances, so he thought he was going to be under. So there we go.
You know what? I actually am okay with my reasoning there, because if I recall, it was more based around, hey, guys get hurt, things can happen, and I'm fine with taking the L there, but still down 4-0. This is not good.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
I didn't expect this.
It was a cold start for Ben. I won't say it was a cold finish, but it was a cold start.
Oh man.
So the next one you guys moved over to the hitting side, and first one you did was Bo Bichette, Fangraphs War, and you set the number at 2, and he came in at 0.9. Yeah. Ben went under, Arden went over.
All right,
there you go.
On the board.
Yeah, that was a big swing.
But I think he would have been. To be fair, if he hadn't been hurt, I think he would have been.
Yeah, 0.9 in how many games? How many games did he play? Right,
that's part of the over/under.
20 something.
Yeah, fair. I know, but he was on fire when he got hurt. So I think the over was fair there.
Tell me how many games he played. Are you looking it up
right now? He played 29 games.
So actually, it would have been pretty. If he played a full season, it would have been pretty close.
Great player,
right?
Yeah, no question. He definitely
0.9 in 29 games, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would have been It would have been pretty borderline. We set that pretty well.
Yeah, that's a good number. There's a few here that were actually a pretty good number. I was surprised by you guys nailing it. That's rare. So
is that 4-1 Ben then?
It's 4-1 Ben.
No, 4-1 Arden, folks.
Oh, sorry, 4-1
Arden. Yeah, I'm just used to that.
I wish.
All right, so the next one you guys had was Vladimir Guerrero OPS. And you set the number at 841, which I thought was pretty reasonable. The actual turned out to be 791. Ben took the over on 841. Arden, under King, takes it again.
Yeah, this is how you win the over-unders. You just always bet against the team you watch. Just bet against them. It will always serve you well.
I also know, Ben, you'll always go over on any Vlad Jr.
I know. Yes. It's a weak spot. It's a blind spot. It's
like coming into the season, I think we could have increased the over-under on that, and you probably would have gone over.
Yeah.
Like I think we could have put it in like 880 and you would have gone over.
Maybe.
You're bullish on Vlad.
And next year, I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the under on everything next year except for Vladdy. I'll still take a few overs.
That's what we like to hear. Yeah. So that you guys, the 841 was on Zip's projections that you went off on.
Right. So that's fair. Yep.
I wonder what his projections will be going into next season, just considering the first two of his career. Yeah. That would impact it.
Right? For sure. For sure.
Probably put it around 8, I would imagine. Around 800.
Higher.
You think?
I think Zips will have him 830, 840. And again,
I'm not sure how much it weighs, like the minor league track record versus now we have a somewhat of a major league sample, right?
Right. But I mean, even the major league sample is kind of impressive when you think about, okay, he was 21 years old. He had an OPS close to 800 in a year where league average OPS was what, 745, 750, something like that.
Yeah.
So to be an above average hitter at 21 would usually portend more success at 22 and 23.
Yep.
Sam, you're a Blue Jays fan. Like, where are you at on Vlad Jr.? Like, how do you feel? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah, I forgot this is a camera thing. Honestly, I don't know. I get caught in the middle because I want to be excited about him, but I also worry about him. You know, I'm sort of caught in the middle on him. Like I think that Terry went on in the middle of this season was really encouraging, but I don't know. I just think he has his lows are too low for me. But I digress. Let's move on to another Vladdy one.
Go ahead.
You guys had Vladdy errors at 3.5 at first base. Yep.
At first base.
Yeah, Vladdy errors at first base. Because you guys talked about
it's
how
hard to make an error at first base.
The position moves.
You tested that theory.
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah.
So I guess going into this, we knew that he had moved. Yeah. He had changed positions. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because we would on this at the end of spring and coming into it was like summer camp started and they were like, it's a first baseman now.
Yeah, and he was first baseman and chasing balls to second base there at the start of the year. Wasn't great, but you guys said it set the number at 3.5, and the actual was 3. And Ben went under, Arden went over. So there you go.
All right.
It's
to be fair,
easy to make it an error at first base.
Arden, you should have won this one though, because think of all those pop-ups that went, behind first base and he just dropped or never touched, and those aren't scored as errors. Like the number of mistakes was like 15. But the number of errors was 3. So
even the ones that
win.
Sam was talking about where he's ranging to his right when he shouldn't, when second baseman's ball, you don't get an error on that.
That's right.
In the playoffs, he had a pop-up drop in foul territory. I was watching Trevor Bauer's YouTube, and he was like, during one of his YouTube videos that was happening, and Bauer's is like, it's just like a really funny reaction.
Future Blue Jay Trevor Bauer boys, talk about that in the next episode.
I'm not counting on it. I don't know. I'm not counting on it.
Tough sell, I would say. All right, so this one, you guys started to get weird here a little bit. This is the first one that I was like, wow, if I was a producer, this one might not have trickled through. But
throwing some shade at Christian right there.
Joe Panic positions played. You guys set the number at 4.5. And the actual was 3. Of course, he played shortstop, second base, and third base. Arden took the over on 4.5 positions played for Joe Panic. Ben took the under.
All right.
I probably thought he was going to play first and a corner outfield.
Yeah, that was your exact reasoning.
Yeah. Big Joe Panic guy, Arden.
Yeah, big Joe Panic guy. Yeah.
Well, I guess we should have done that for Biggio. Was really the guy we should have done that for.
Yeah.
Sure. But you guys had to get way too nerdy and do chase rate for him instead of positions played. So
Biggio played what? Right, center, second, third.
Yeah, he
never played short or first. I don't think
he played first.
But that's 5 positions.
Or no, are we including DH
positions
as a position?
I don't recall.
Well, if we're counting DH as a position,
Joe Panic was DH. I know that.
Joe Panic, was at 4 positions.
That's still the under.
Yeah, still the under. So
we probably were including it if we set it at 4.5.
Joe Panic DHing is just something that you would not have seen coming. But All right. So the next
so
one
Arden's up 5-3 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next one here was Teoscar Hernandez, games in center field. And you guys set the number at 14.5, and it came in at 9, which is pretty surprisingly low. And both you boys took over and were wrong on that one. So
wow.
I'm surprised that it was under 14.5 games in center field, but I guess
Biggio was the guy that they went to if Grichuk was out.
That's the thing, like especially because Grichuk was hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jonathan Davis would have seen some time in center field. Yep. Did Alford play there ever? Maybe a couple games.
Fisher played it.
I think Fisher was in right mostly. That's certainly the lasting impression that I'll have of Derek Fisher is playing right field and not playing it well.
Oh, poor old D Fish.
Yeah.
All right.
So we were both wrong on that.
Both wrong.
So
both
it's still 5-3.
Yep.
All
right. So this one is how many Jays pitchers with 1 WAR? And you guys set the number at 1.5, and the actual was 1 with Hyun-Jin Ryu. And Arden took under, and Ben took over.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So who do you think were the next closest pitchers?
I mean, Romano would have been pretty close.
The top 2 in WAR, I'm just pulling it up here. I had it, but the top 2 are Rafael Delis was number 2 on the team, and Julian Merriweather.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's impressive. He didn't get that many opportunities.
So Ryu was the only one who got one
was
more.
the only one.
Wow.
I want to know who Ben thought was going to be the other one.
I imagine I just would have taken the field just as
You were going
maybe?
Pearson. You were making a big case for Pearson.
Pearson. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Hyunjin Ryu had a 1.9 WAR, and then Rafael Delis had a 0.6 WAR, Julian Merriweather 0.5, Taiwan Walker 0.5, Anthony Bass 0.5, Romano 0.4.
Wow.
Well, they had so many relievers in leverage spots, right?
Sure.
Like it was constant leverage out of the bull. And also the way the Jays used their pitching staff kind of worked against you, Ben, right? Because they, guys weren't getting too deep into game. Like Ryu was the only guy who had any leash.
I mean, if Roark had been
to.
halfway decent, I mean, the guys had chances, if Thornton had been healthy, I mean, I imagine most teams in baseball would have had more than one pitcher with one WAR. I mean, certainly most playoff teams would have had, you have to have 3 or 4 of those guys, you'd think.
For sure.
All right.
So, what happened there? I won that one?
Yep. You said under.
So this is very strange. All right.
Yep. So the next one was a pitcher win category. I almost threw my headphones on the ground. I was so shocked to hear it. But the Blue Jays pitcher wins leader was you set the number at 5.5 wins, and the actual was 5 with Hyunjin Ryu, and you both went under, and you both got that.
All right. Nice. I'll take it.
Yep. You'll take the pitcher win category win, eh? Yeah, I would.
Or tie in this case.
Yeah, tie. Yeah. All right. So the next one was another pitching category, and you guys did Jays team ERA, and you set the number at 4.50, and it came in at 4.60, and you both went over, so you both get that one.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Nicely done by us.
Yeah. So you guys are a little hot here. Couple wins in a row. How you feel?
Not good.
Not good.
How do you not feel good, Arden? You're up 6-3.
No, I'm being set up for disappointment.
No,
I know it.
I don't have. I have a bad feeling here.
Been down this road before.
Oh man,
Right.
I've been here before.
Yeah. All right. So the next one was Blue Jays with double-digit homers, and you guys set the number at 5.5, which I thought was pretty high. And the actual was 3, of course, with Teoscar Lourdes and Randall Grichuk. Arden went over, and Ben went under.
Teoscar Lourdes and Grichuk. Tellez didn't get there?
Nope. There was a lot of guys close.
Right? Like there would be a bunch of guys at 8 or 9, I would think.
Yeah, there were. Have it pulled
like
up here.
Vlad didn't get there. Like Bo.
Nope.
I guess Bo was hurt. Vlad had a terrible
Bo was
season.
hurt.
Yeah.
So only 3 guys.
I could see how I got to that prediction.
For sure. And you
Look
laid
at
it
the
out
3 guys who
beautifully.
did it, and then just add in Vlad, Bo, Tellez. I mean,
Yep.
Biggio could do it.
They have a lot of guys who could.
Yeah, and you guys laid it out beautifully in the before the season started. Arden, you sounded pretty smart, I will say, and then you're just wrong, unfortunately. But yeah,
Well, Jansen could do it.
yeah, you did mention Jansen.
He had 2 in 1 game in the playoffs.
Yeah, so Vladdy had 9, Cavan had 8, Rowdy had 8, Danny Jansen had 6, Travis Shaw had 6. Bo with 5.
Shaw too. They had a bunch of guys who could do it.
Yep.
I feel good about that prediction.
They hit a lot of home runs for a 60-game season. I'm sure old Buffalo didn't hurt that.
Yeah.
That was,
Well, so coming into Buffalo, everyone you talked to was saying it's the pitcher's park. Like the wind blows in, it's cold, but then the ball was flying out of there.
Yeah.
There's a couple games, like that game against the Marlins was insane. The one where they went, well, it's 15 or 14-13 or whatever, and everybody was hitting it out. Yeah. Maybe we should get used to that. I don't know if we'll be back.
Well, all the
next year,
guys
we'll
who had played in Buffalo were saying it's tough to hit one out here.
Yeah.
But then there were those nights.
Maybe because they're AAA baseball players. Does that have something to do with it?
There were nights where to left, it felt like if you just got the ball in the air left, it was going.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so this next one you were both wrong on, and it was team wins. You guys set the over-under at 27.5. And of course, they came in at 32. And both you guys went under and were dead wrong. Ye of little faith. Way to go, fellas.
What would you have taken, Sam? Honestly, if you were on the
Under.
pod, you would have
100%
taken
under.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they did well.
Yeah, and looking at the case preseason, you'd say that you wouldn't expect the Red Sox to be that bad. I don't think you'd expect the Mets to be that bad. There's lots of teams that you would have expected to kind of be better than they were. So I definitely would have taken under that. But I didn't have to put it on record until now. So there you go.
Right.
I had them at 26 wins coming in.
Yep.
I think that was fair.
Yeah,
they for sure way outperformed any kind of objective projection for them.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's reset here. What's the score at?
So
6-4.
you got 6-4.
6-4 for me.
That's right. You're still grappling with this.
Yeah, I know. It feels like that was team wins. Feels like we're about halfway through. Feel like a good point to kind of reset, take a breath, step away, sell some stuff, and then return here on At the Letters. It continues on At the Letters. Arden Zwelling, Ben Smith, Sam McKee is with us, and our producers, as always, Christian Ryan and Mike Tassoni. I am up. I already forgot 6-4.
Yep.
I am up 6-4 on Ben. How many categories do we have left, Sam?
Let's see here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left.
It's not much.
6 left.
That is not a lot of room for me to make this comeback.
I will say that the next category was extremely creative, boys. I really liked it. So.
Didn't we like spring categories on each other?
You did, and that's where this point started. Right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, bud.
No. Hey, guess what? Wasn't going to mention it. So good on you.
So, right. So, yeah, we surprised each other with categories. And this is me surprising Ben.
Yep. And this one was great. So, Blue Jays hitters and pitchers with 60-plus Ks. So, that's obviously hitters that strike out 60 times and pitchers that have 60 Ks. So, you guys set the number at 4.5, and the actual was 3. Ryu struck out 60, of course, and then Biggio and Teoscar both struck out over 60 times.
Wow. So what did we take?
Ben took the under, and Arden took the over.
So I'm within 1 now.
Yeah, it's 6-5. Was anybody close?
Let me see here. Yes, Travis Shaw had 50 strikeouts, which was the next closest hitter. And as I quickly scroll down to the pitching, I have it here. I don't feel like there was anyone that was as close.
Yeah, I doubt it on the pitching side.
You know what killed me on this was that Teoscar making like very real adjustments to his approach, right? Same with like Rowdy Tellez, like real like chasing less. Like Dante Bichette killed me on this category. Essentially,
Ryu had 72 Ks, far and away the clubhouse leader. The next closest was Tanner Roark with 41.
Yeah, so no one close.
Chase Anderson 38.
Pitchers weren't close. Yeah,
I think I was betting on I imagine I was betting on hitters striking out a lot.
Yeah,
you made that a lot of that case in your
because they have a lot of strikeout guys, they had.
Yeah, this next one was awesome. You guys ready?
Okay.
So it was the combined games played of Alejandro Kirk, Jordan Groshans, Austin Martin, Simeon Woods Richardson, Alek Manoah. And you guys set the over under at 0.5. Both took under, and it of course went over with Alejandro Kirk playing 9 games. Yep.
And what a blessing those 9 games were. That was great.
Oh,
it's so entertaining.
The bright spot of the season, the power pot roast.
Sam, you must have loved Kirk, right?
Oh, by far my favorite Jay.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah.
Love everything about him. There's not one thing. When those clips of him rounding third, chugging home, there's nothing funnier in the game of baseball than that. So
just pure hustle.
That's my boy right there. So that was pretty good. You were both emphatic about that. Hard under, no way.
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah. That was the reasonable thing, I would say. And we were right for most, like if Danny Jansen and Reese McGuire had better seasons, I think it would have been the under.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really.
So we call this next category the John Gibbons Memorial.
Love this category.
Yes.
Charlie Montoyo ejections. And you guys set the number at 1.5, and he was only thrown out once. And I'll give you one guess who threw him out.
Oh, Vic Carapazza.
Bingo. Yeah.
Wow.
Vic Carapazza.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ran him. Yeah. So there you go.
Was that the Shoemaker meltdown, right?
I think so. Yeah.
There were a few times where Charlie could have got tossed, right? Like that lineup card thing, I think, against Atlanta early in the season.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Because, Arden, I remember you and I saying, and Sam, I still want to hear what we actually took on that, but I remember you and I saying, Arden, like, there were times that Charlie arguably should have been getting tossed just because of the circumstances of the games.
Oh, Gibby would have had like a half dozen in this season.
That's right.
So you both took under, so you both nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
it's hard to go over on a Charlie Montoyo ejection.
He doesn't seem like the type of guy that gets tossed too often.
No.
How many times did he get tossed in his first season? I feel like it was like 2 times in his first time.
One or
Like,
two. It wasn't a
in
lot.
2019. It wasn't a lot.
Yep.
What's funny is you talk to people who were on the clubs that he managed in the minors, and they're like, "This guy was a crazy hothead." Like apparently in the minors, he was getting tossed all the time. He'd give it to us like nuts.
If you're managing a minor league team, you got to get tossed a lot. Like that's one of the perks of the job at that point, right?
Yeah,
Let
I feel
your
like
age
that's maybe that's how you differentiate yourself to people. You know, oh, this guy's fiery.
Yeah,
He's there
exactly.
for his team.
Yeah.
So okay. So the next one is you guys. When I would mention you guys getting nerdy, and this is the nerdy one. Guys with better chase rate than Kevin Biggio.
Right.
And you guys set the number at 0.5.
Right.
The
Yeah.
actual is 0. He was number 1.
I remember this one.
Amazing.
That's an amazing shout by you, Ben. Honestly, that's incredible.
That's
the best in the league.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, obviously, like Biggio is just so good at that, and it's kind of crazy that it is proving to be a repeatable skill. I mean, we saw Max Muncy in the playoffs do that all the and I think Muncy was like on that leaderboard, right, Sam?
Like
one
the
of
top.
best.
I mean, the top. You look at Kevin Biggio's name there, and it goes Kevin Biggio. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Mike Trout, Max Muncy, Carlos Santana, Joey Votto, Aaron Hicks, Kristen Yelich, Trent Grisham, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto. So it's like a who's who of players, and Kevin Biggio at the top of that. 16.3%. So there you go.
It's wild.
Pretty impressive.
That's an incredible prediction. Honestly, you gave me the field and you got it. That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one.
I wish you would swing a little more. Maybe that's just me. Maybe just swing 1 or 2 times more. But
he's completely fine with what he does.
I think Biggio
completely.
He's got it figured out.
He's so valuable. He is so valuable to this team. Led them in plate appearances. Led them in games played. I want to say, or he must have. Like I played what we were listing before, 4 different positions, starting in center, second, third, right. The on base is nuts. Like so valuable.
I love watching him play baseball, man. He's sick.
He's great.
And it just makes the right play all the time, right?
Great player. So we're tied now, right, Sam?
Yep.
And we have how many left?
I knew
2 or
this
3?
was gonna happen.
I don't know, man.
I knew it was gonna happen. We have 2 left.
2
we're
left.
tied.
Oh,
yeah.
It does actually routinely come down to us being tied near the end.
I know.
I feel like every year.
This one was outfielders used for the Jays, and you guys set the number at 10.5, and the actual was 8, which was pretty close. So Ben went under, and Arden went over.
Oh man!
Oh my God!
So can you guys name all the guys that played outfield for the Jays?
8.
8.
Yeah.
All right. So
Lourdes, Grichuk.
Yep.
Biggio.
Yep.
Davis, Fisher, Alford.
Yep.
Alford, Davis. Yeah. How many we got there?
7.
7.
There's one more.
Billy McKinney for 1 game.
Oh, Billy McKinney.
Billy McKinney.
Yep.
Who picked him up? Billy?
Brewers,
I think. Yeah.
The Brewers?
Yeah.
Somebody picked him up, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Billy McKinney. Both parts. So the J Hap trade was Drury and McKinney for Hap, and neither guy on the 40-man anymore. Billy not even in the organization. And I guess Drury will have the option of being a minor league free agent.
That's right.
In the coming days.
That's right.
Crazy.
So you might have both those guys gone, which is like that trade was not that long ago.
I had to sell my house on Drury Island, fellas. I was holding out hope for way too long.
you and Rob Wong.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. I just like to. It's like the stupidest Dumbo baseball fan, but I just like the stance. Looked like a hitter up there. I don't know. I thought he looked good.
I think Ben Ennis was on that island for a little bit too.
And then I actually he wasn't. I went to a game with him and JD Bunkus, and it was Vlad's debut. And they were because Drury came up in extras, or was it the 9th inning?
He had a walk-off, didn't he?
Yeah, and they were chirping me like, "Oh, here's your boy Drury! Oh, another strikeout!" And he hit a bomb, and that was my greatest moment as a Brandon Drury fan. There wasn't many, but that was my greatest moment.
Got to hold on to them.
Yeah. There's something there. Clear, like you can see it a bit in the expected stats and like the exit velo, and I'm sure teams have other stuff because, like, look, the Yankees, he was going to be their starting third baseman for a while, right? Like on a playoff club.
For sure.
Blue Jays, obviously, there's something there.
He had a couple good years with the Diamondbacks, like good major league seasons.
How old is he? Maybe he's like one of those guys who just puts it together at 28 or 29, right? Like
I feel like he's already that old, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd put him around 28.
Like, how old was Muncy before he like got good with the Dodgers?
For sure. Or Turner. But I mean, those guys are the exception.
Absolutely. Yeah. But there's always like something there, right? Like there's an underlying thing there that for why these guys keep getting opportunities.
Yeah.
when, as Sam said, quote unquote, dumbos like us kind of watch and go, what?
The Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins have made some unbelievable trades as their members of as their front office. That one was not one of them. That was
no, it was not.
No,
nobody's 100%, right?
No, for sure. But they made some sick ones, but that was not one of them.
Anything come to mind for you, Sam?
What,
just on that topic?
The best ones that they've made.
Yeah.
I think Teoscar has to be the best one, right?
Right now. Yeah, that's looking really good.
Yeah,
because they for Francisco Liriano, I mean, that's pretty good piece of business. I'm trying to think.
The Stroman deal looks good. K and Woods
Richardson
looks
good.
Yeah.
Although we'll see, like book's still very much out on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? You just like jarred my memory. I feel like after the Hap deal, Brian Cashman had a quote like, we had to give up a lot more than we wanted to. Like, we don't really feel great about how much we gave up here.
And the Randall
I wonder
Grichuk
if he actually thought
good.
that.
Randall Grichuk trade's pretty good too. Like, say what you will about Randall Grichuk, but like what did they trade for him? Wasn't it like a reliever?
It was Connor Green.
And Connor
Connor Green and Don McLeon,
Which certainly you'd rather have Grichuk than those guys.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good one. All right,
we're missing some big ones. I know that, by the way, but we're not gonna interrupt the whole podcast to do that. But I know we're missing some other ones.
So this is a perfect segue into the last one. And
so it's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last one and Ben's up by one.
Yeah.
Oh, so the best I can do is a tie?
Yeah.
See, I knew this would happen.
I got some news for you, buddy. It's not going to be a tie. Mark Shapiro contract extensions before the end of the regular season. You guys set the over-under at 0.5, and of course, he did not get a contract extension. You both took the under. So Ben Nicholson-Smith, the West End weapon, he wins.
The West End weapon.
Weapon.
Man.
I am outnumbered here.
Yeah,
it's the lone East Ender this, including Christian Ryan producing.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
That was good, fellas. It was a great listen. I loved it. Just, brought me back to the old days, just scrambling around in that backup studio trying to figure out what I was doing, Started in 2015, right? Like it's been a lot of years
their
now.
first
or 2014.
No, 15.
15?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure this out the other day because I was talking to Amal Delic, also former ATL producer, and he was saying we have over 300 episodes.
Wow,
nuts! It's crazy.
Wow.
Really?
So thanks to everyone who's listened to.
We
even
put the numbers on them, but that's
that's crazy.
It's a lot of episodes. Wow.
All right. Well, yeah. That's what I thought was going to happen.
I'm surprised. Honestly, I thought this was, especially when you got off to that hot start, Arden, I thought this was the year that you were going to win for sure. And this, honestly, like I'm kind of shook from these results. Like I think that I need to really get back to my roots, get back to my origins. Unders all day.
You need to rely more on your process. You need to Tampa Bay Rays this thing.
Totally. I need to take way more unders.
You let Blake Snell pitch too long.
Exactly.
Well, next year we'll be doing the over-unders Colton Wong positions played next year, right?
I'd be all right with that. He's a pretty solid player. I mean, for all the outcry.
I know.
He could be a fine extra guy. I don't know if he's going to want to sign somewhere that he's a bench player, but for all the outcry yesterday, the guy had a 670 OPS last year. It's not, it's not like he's Roberto Alomar.
You have younger, better Colton Wong and Kevin Biggio, in my opinion. Or just go sign Tommy LaStella.
Sign George Springer. How's that sound?
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of a different category.
Sam just up levels to the next.
Sign Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
No, George Springer's my dream, but I guess thanks, fellas.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Sam. Hey, so what's your before we let you go, what's your off-season roadmap for the Jays? Arden and I have already kind of, weighed in on this, but what as a Jays fan, what do you want to see them do?
I think, I don't know, I would say sign a starting pitcher, but we just watched World Series and there's no starting pitching anymore. So maybe sign some bullpen guys that throw 100 because that seems to be where the game is now. I'd love to see them get a really defensively capable outfielder. Maybe Jackie Bradley Jr., a guy, somebody who's going to save them runs in the outfield, play a fast guy, But I honestly think they got a good thing going, but they just need some more arms. Starter and a couple bullpen arms. But like I said, if you don't have 6 guys coming out of the bullpen throwing 100, it doesn't seem like you're going to make the World Series anytime soon. So maybe the Jays should get on that.
Yeah, they should.
How do you feel about the state of starting pitching, Sam.
Oh,
right now.
What, you want to get me started here? Like,
I do. That's exactly what I want to do.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand watching
So
baseball.
why? So like Ben and I obviously fall on the other side of the fence, but I'd like to hear your perspective on like what you don't like about it.
Okay, so I don't mind. Like, I really don't mind having a guy, go 4 or 5 innings, or they pull him. Like, I hated the Blake Snell thing, but I understood why they did it. The third time through thing, I understand that. But I just hate the Tony Gonsolin going, oh, he's definitely going to go 4 innings, and one guy gets on, and it's just like the hook, and then it's like a parade of dudes who throw it. I don't know. I don't think it's an aesthetically pleasing thing to watch. I think one of my favorite things about baseball is having a pitcher go out there and work his way in and out of trouble and sort of getting out of jams or getting into jams. I don't know. Working his way through a lineup, third time through, having to throw different pitches and stuff. I think that's like a big part of baseball that's just completely lost now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just the game has changed so much. The sport I fell in love with, boys, no longer exists. I'll say that.
Wow. Yeah. Huh. And you're not alone in thinking that, Sam.
Like, I can't stand the Rays. The way the Rays do business is just like, I was thrilled to see them lose. I know that the Dodgers are just as analytically inclined as the Rays, but they spend big money on sick players. So I kind of respect that side of it. But I just don't like the way things are done these days. I really don't.
So it's an aesthetic argument for you then?
For sure.
Like for me, it's like it's the starting pitcher thing, right? Like it's been such like an outcry and such an outrage over the last like few days, and I honestly just don't get it.
Well, you're on the side of Snell. That was the right call to take him out.
I think that I wouldn't have done it myself, but I think the logic behind it was sound.
It's
like the
reasonable.
Logic behind it makes sense.
Yeah,
it's totally
and what I would push back against in the Snell thing is people, and I'm not saying you, Sam, but people who say that it just wasn't justifiable, that it was this like abomination of a move, and that it was not justifiable. And I'm like, I understand like the argument that you might have left him in personally because he was throwing well, but the idea of replacing a starter as he goes deep into the game with a very good reliever, whether that's Anderson or Castillo or somebody else, is another question. But to me, it's justifiable.
Yeah, to zoom right in on it, he took him out after, was it Austin Barnes got a single, right?
Single, on a bad slider, yeah.
And then he brought in Anderson. But Mookie Betts, the thing they've been talking about the whole playoffs is that like this strange thing that Mookie Betts can't hit left-handed pitching. And his slugging and his stuff against left-handed pitching has been terrible. So I would have left him in for the playoffs even. It's been bad. So I would have left him in for Betts and then the lefty and Seager and then see where I go from there.
Fair.
That's what I would have left.
Totally fair.
I don't think he needs to be out there for 10 innings like Jack Morris. Like, I'm not saying that. Yeah. But I just think that like I think he deserved, and they take this out of it. That's what the Rays do. I think he earned the right to face the top of the lineup one more time when he's your stud ace guy in a World Series game and he's pitching the best game of his life. I think he's earned the right to stay in there. But Kevin Cash and the Rays have always talked about how they take that element out of it, right? Like, you got to have thick skin. That's their whole thing. And I hate that. I just hate that. I think sports are about guys sort of overcoming what they usually do. It's a sort of a narrative-based thing for me as opposed to a numbers-based thing. And I just hate it. I just hate it.
I think also like on the aesthetic front of things, it just breaks up the flow of the experience as a viewer. Sure. And like, if my favorite experiences of viewing anything, like if I'm watching a movie, I don't want to sit down and like pause it. I actually do pause movies, but like, I don't want to necessarily like pause every 5 minutes and like have to sit through a commercial or like look something up. I just want to enjoy it and get into the flow of that movie, of that show, of that game, whatever it is that I'm watching. And so the more that you have these interruptions on the pitching side, then the harder it becomes to really get into the flow of the game.
And the other thing with the flow is that they bring these relievers in and and they bring these relievers in, and every single one of these guys, it's the biggest outing of their life.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh my God, I'm pitching in the World Series, and they take 15 to 30 seconds in between every pitch. They're rubbing up the ball. They're taking their glove off. They're really honing in. And it's like, that's what stretches out these games. All these guys are just, they're like, it's the biggest inning of their life. And they're like, I have to do really well here. And I don't know. I like fast baseball. Mark Burley's my favorite baseball player. Like Roy Halladay, these guys who are just super fast, just get it and go. I don't know. I'm old school, man. I guess I'm an old guy. I don't know. I like fast baseball.
I don't even think it's just that though, because like, I don't know, man. Like, how often do I seek out any form of entertainment that lasts 4 hours, right? Like when I think about, I don't watch a lot of 4-hour movies, I don't watch a lot of 4-hour basketball games or, auto races or whatever the heck else. Like, so 4-hour baseball, that's a lot of time. And so I think Major League Baseball, and I love baseball. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite entertainment product, but I still think like 4 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
It's not the job of a front office to like feel the most
trying to win.
Entertaining.
They're trying to win. They're not trying to appease They're not trying to appease dummies like me. That's the thing. It's like the cat. I was gonna say the cat's out of the barn. I don't think that's a saying. The horses are out of the barn.
You're looking for a bag. Yeah, the horses are out of the stable.
The horses are out of the stable. Like, this is not going back. We saw it with the Jays. The Jays did this exact sort of thing in game 1, and guess what? It worked. Like, Matt Shoemaker was great for 3 innings. Me and all my Dumbo friends screamed about how stupid it was, and then Robbie Ray came in and shoved, and they lost that game, but they lose that game 3-1. It wasn't the pitching's fault. So,
and Rosarena was the guy who hit the triple off Ray, by the way, which is kind of funny in hindsight.
I gotta say that I don't get a lot of stuff right about baseball, but I gotta be honest, I had barely heard of Randy Rosarena, and then he stepped in against the Jays. I was like, who's this guy? And then he stepped in. I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's going to haunt the Jays for the next 10 years. Guaranteed. And he haunted everyone. He was sick. So, yeah, look, here's the thing. I'm going to watch baseball. I'm a baseball fan. I'm going to always watch playoff baseball. I'm always going to watch the Jays. I love it. But it's testing. It's testing me, I will say. And I know that
they did it your way for 100 years.
I know. The generation below me is not going to be as favorable to it, I don't think. So I think, but I don't know how you change it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I have a solution. I don't think there is a solution. It's such an eloquent said, the cat's out of the bag. So it's done now.
Well, they did it your way for 100 years, and then they figured, you know what, this maybe isn't like the best way to win. Like, we aren't winning that much. It's like people who have been like we were talking about this the other day, Ben, on the video with Alex Sixero, like people who are like dunking all over, data-driven decision making and analytics, right? Like, oh, the Rays how could they do this? They made that decision in Game 6 of the World Series.
Yeah. That's the thing.
That alone proves that their methods lead to success. And look where they were.
The Dodgers did the same thing.
Yes.
The
two would you say that those are the two most analytically driven teams in the MLB? Pretty close?
I don't know. I mean,
Astros
Houston
are up there.
Yeah. The Yankees,
but like
Cleveland,
but I
Brewers.
feel like those two are,
you look at the teams that have consistently been in the playoffs for the last several years. Those are the most analytically driven
and
ones.
Who's not that analytically driven is like the Royals and the Rockies.
Right. Right. You
So,
look at the teams that are consistently
Royals
winning
won the World
games.
Series, boys. Only
They
5
did
years
good
ago.
decisions.
So
That's
right. Yeah.
Bunts, Ted Yost.
Yeah. I will say, hey, here's a solution, or not a solution, but here's an idea to bounce off you guys. What would you think about, all right, DH, universal DH is probably headed that way anyways.
Yes.
You only get to keep your DH as long as the starting pitcher is in the game.
Ooh.
I don't need it. No.
Oh, I like that.
You
I
like
really
it,
like
Sam?
that.
I kind of like it too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What do we do? So to what end? Like, why? Why are we doing that?
Because then it incentivizes teams to keep the starting pitcher in.
But why do we want to incentivize teams to do that?
No. This has been, I don't know whether it was Tom Tango who suggested it, but I saw it on Twitter somewhere.
That's
sorry for the lack of attribution.
But would it be? I guess that would be an NL only thing because it would be the same, or would it be both leagues?
Both leagues. Yeah.
Why are you going to have a 28-man roster, but then not let teams or try to disincentivize teams from using those pitchers?
Well, the idea would be that I think if you lose your DH when you take out the starting pitcher, it means that to keep the DH, you might be inclined to leave the starting pitcher in more.
But
if he's hovering around 85 pitches or 90 pitches, you'd send him out one more inning as opposed to taking him out.
And as strategy.
But what are we fixing? Why? For what end?
That's
not going to speed up games. Like, it's not going to. What's the outcome here? It's just to appeal to dumbos like Sam, right? Like, it's what's for people who liked things the way they were for 100 years and can't stand that they're changing, that things are done differently now, right? Like, what's the outcome that you're looking for there?
I think to me it was just,
I guess, but it's not going to speed it up.
Why can't people just enjoy baseball? Like, what's wrong with like Nick Anderson coming in and throwing hard and against one of the best like hitters in the game? It's not like they brought in like some scrub. They brought in like one of the best relievers over the last.
Except he given up a run in like
seasons.
every game in the playoffs. Other than that. You know?
Yeah, your 6-game sample is like really compelling.
Well,
Like it's just like the Mookie Betts against lefties thing, right? So
this
this
is the
he didn't hit lefties. It was like 50 plate appearances. Like that doesn't tell you anything.
This is the exact argument here. You know, like they brought in, it's a guy who their computer printed out a plan where Nick Anderson has been good in the regular season over a long sort of sample size, but then you look at it in the playoffs, he's been knocked around every game, and it's like they should have, you know, maybe they bring in a different guy.
In their computers, like you could do this math by hand. You don't need a computer for any of this. It's not like as if this is some sort of advanced like stuff. It's not. It's very clear, just probabilities and just using data and using history to tell you like maybe we shouldn't do things this way anymore.
I honestly
think
Snell,
that like 2 games earlier in the World Series, like game 2, like had a no-hitter through 4 1/3 or something, and then he just gave up like 2 walks and a bomb or something.
And not even one game earlier, Dave Roberts did literally the exact same thing with Clayton Kershaw, where he got 2 quick outs in the 6th inning, and he came out and gave him the pull. So I think that's.
I tend to agree with Arden in the sense that like if you can't accept what baseball is now, then you're not going to enjoy it. And part of what's happening in baseball is all these changes. And if fans don't like that, which is fine and reasonable, then that's their own decision. But like, you're not going to enjoy baseball unless you kind of accept to some extent that the game is changing. And this is the way that the game looks right now. I think along with that though, these 4-hour games, I think it's just as an entertainment product, I think it's too long. So I think Major League Baseball has to tighten it.
In the playoffs, I think it's fine. I think playoff games, like I don't mind sitting down and watching a World Series game that's going to be 4 hours. I mean, look at go back when, like with the Yankees and Red Sox, those games, when they like in the heyday, those games were going to like 1 a.m. They'd start at 8 o'clock. So, it's, I don't think it's necessarily a length thing in the playoffs, but I think it's more of a length thing Tuesday night versus the Royals, where a game goes 4 hours, where it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
The only way to meaningfully shorten the time of game is to eliminate innings.
The game.
Yeah. So
make
it
it 7-inning
games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to do it. None of this stuff like no intentional walks, you don't have to throw the pitches and limiting mound visits. None of this stuff is impactful. No. So if you really want to limit it, you have to eliminate innings. Otherwise, just enjoy the product. Like what I love about baseball is watching like a really good pitcher go up against a really good hitter. And so to me, that's Nick Anderson versus Mookie Betts. Like Nick Anderson's got amazing stuff and he's trying to get Mookie Betts out. Mookie Betts is like the second best position player on the planet. That's really cool.
It just couldn't have gone worse for Nick, for Kevin Cash and Nick Anderson. It could not have gone worse.
Nobody points out all the time
the game, like
the Rays and Dodgers do similar stuff, and it works. It works, which is more often than not.
Well, you said it best. We're arguing about Game 6 of the World Series with one of the lowest payrolls in the major leagues of baseball. So I understand where it's going. Here's the thing: it's been happening for like the last 5 years, the last 10 years. Like it's not. But I feel like this has really been a referendum on it. And, I think it's great for what I do, for talking about it on the radio. I love going on the radio and screaming about it. It's great. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, it's never going to – it's not changing now, buddy. Like, it's done now. So
like, Mookie Betts just as easily could have hit that double off of Blake Snell. It's not a foregone conclusion that Snell was going to strike out Mookie Betts. His velocity was declining. His slider
was like 94 to 97, right? From 97 to 94,
Yeah, his slider wasn't as effective because he threw that one to Barnes. The Barnes was able to, the number 9 hitter was able to get a hit off of. I mean, there's like Mookie Betts very well could have taken Blake Snell deep. We don't know, right? And we never will know.
So the argument is it's heart versus hearts versus charts, boys. How's that sound? It's hearts versus charts. And in my heart, I let my guy who's my number 1 guy, I give him the top of the order one more time when he's been completely dominant. And that's not the way Rays do things. And I disagree with it. So I mean, it was a great World Series. That Game 4 is one of the better World Series
great game.
I've seen in a long time.
I
enjoyed the playoffs pretty much all the way through.
Yeah.
But
the playoffs were really good.
At least 15 times I was like, wow, this really seems long. Or like,
and
this
you know
really
what?
seems unnecessary.
And one of my favorite moments of the whole playoffs was when you had Dusty Baker sticking with Zach Greinke. That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah. And they didn't make the World Series, unfortunately. I was the only guy in the world cheering for the Astros, but they didn't
come. You like a heel?
Give me cheaters over charts all day.
You got all these chart sayings.
I got a chart for you.
I gotta get
right?
that one. I think that one's Bunkus's, so I got to give him credit for that one.
Cheaters over charts.
Here's a
Here's
chart.
the thing. He was hammering me for cheering for the Astros, and then I hear him on the radio yesterday being like, "Oh, I wish the Astros had a one," and I'm like, "Wow, you stole my stuff." But there you go.
I've got a chart, and I'm just going to write the number 1 on it. That's all it says. You know what that number 1 represents is how many runs the Rays scored against the Dodgers in Game 6. You want to talk about why the Rays lost that game? It has nothing to do with removing Blake Snell and everything to do with the fact he scored 1 run against like the greatest team we've seen in a long. The Dodgers were not shut out this season. No, literally,
really,
through regular season and playoffs, not once were they shut out. So you actually literally could not beat the 2020 Dodgers scoring only 1 run.
Wow. And the huge narrative throughout the whole World Series was like that lineup was just bad. Like they couldn't hit at all. The only guy that seemed like he was going to get like anything was a Rosarena. And I mean, you got Joey Wendell, wet newspaper Wendell, as I like to call him, just can't get a knock. Adames swinging at everything. Like their lineup is just not very good. So I don't know. I think they, I good for them for making it, but I'm thrilled they didn't win.
Sam, I like your catchphrases. These are great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to send that one back to the shop, I think.
Wet newspaper Wendell? That's what he's swinging up there. No glove. Oh, you got no glove. Maybe you should put some gloves on, Joey. Maybe you should put some gloves on because maybe that'll help.
I just think everyone's missing the point. Like the Dodgers are so good. The fact that the Rays even got to that point against the Dodgers is like speaks to their methods being absolutely successful. Like the Dodgers had like what was their run differential this year? It's insane. Like it was off the charts.
43-17 record in the regular season.
They were so much better than everybody else.
Yeah,
and
they're so good.
And what I will say is that I think that if any other team, honestly, almost any other team had won, you want to get into real radio, sports radio talk here. I think there might have been an asterisk on literally any other team. But it's the fact that the Dodgers won. They're clearly the best team. It's kind of like what happened in hockey with the Lightning winning. Like it was kind of weird, but everyone kind of accepted that they're the best team. Same with the Lakers. So I think that, I don't think there's any asterisk on the Dodgers because they're the best team. They deserve to win. They have the best players, best arms.
No, they're undeniable. Yeah, absolutely undeniable. 100%. Incredible regular season. Yeah. Swept the wild card series. Swept the first round. 7 games in the CS. Right? Yeah, came back from 3-1. Yeah. And then 6. So what? They would have been 13-5 in the playoffs, I guess.
Pretty good.
Wow,
that'll play.
It's the best teams. It's unreal. And to go back to that discussion around pitching and how you manage it, the Dodgers, part of the reason they were fresh in the playoffs and they had Buehler ready for Game 7 if they needed him was because Buehler did not go deep into games in the regular season. Neither did Urias. Neither did Dustin May. I mean, these guys were relied upon, but they weren't overexposed or overextended at any point. So by the time you get to the Game 6 of the World Series, Urias can close it out, be amazing, be fresh for those last couple innings.
And he's so nasty, man. Walker Buehler. Was there one of you guys that asked about his pants after the loss or no?
No.
I don't think they sent the Zoom link to that guy again. That was quite a question.
Exactly.
I love Walker Buehler's best heater in the league. Got to be.
It's great. It's just like even if it's
most effective for sure.
Yeah.
It's
quote
high
unquote
spin
only 97, but
and
looks harder than that.
It does. It does. It just seems to stay up in the zone.
Well, it's high spin, right? Like Thomas Hatch has the same thing. So it spins like crazy. So it doesn't drop as much as you expect it will as a hitter. So that's why you get like a lot of those swing and miss like under it. Yeah. Because guys like expect it'll drop a bit more and it doesn't. It's like an optical illusion coming at you. Yeah. Cool. See, that's what's interesting about baseball to me.
Totally.
Man. Like it's a different repertoire.
But he's a starting pitcher. And he went 6 innings in the World Series. And I was like, that's great. I love that.
I know. And how do you get there?
6 innings is my threshold.
Sure.
6 innings is my threshold. I'm fine with you bringing in the bullpen after 6 innings if your starter is dealing.
That's the other thing about Snell, right? Like Snell in his career has never pitched a complete game. Like has never had a complete game shutout. Yeah. So like you're like the alternative like scenario was that Snell was going to have a complete game shutout, which he's literally never done his entire career. Like Nick Anderson was pitching in that game regardless at some point, whether it was in that spot against Betts or whether it was like after Snell gets Betts or, whether it was the following inning, like he was going to pitch in that game. It was going to happen.
Yep. Totally true.
Just to put a bow on it, how about Dave Roberts shouting out Ross Stripling, Blue Jays?
Did he?
I
missed that.
In his post game thing, he was like, and Ross Stripling. He was one of the, like 5 guys he shouted out. So there you go.
And Stripling's going to get a ring, obviously. Yeah.
Did David Price get a shutout?
No. Yeah, I forgot. Wow, I forgot he was even on the team.
Wow,
Yeah,
buddy.
That's how good they are. They could have David Price just not show up, also, for understandable reasons, all season, and still win the World Series.
Kershaw and David Price in the same room. The playoff narrative's just through the roof there. So
Hey, they both have rings now.
I know.
Oh, does Price get a ring? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
and he got one, with the Red Sox.
Oh, with the Red Sox,
in 18, yeah.
Where he was really good. So
yeah, he was.
David
All
Price
right,
should have
fellas.
opted back in after Game 5.
That's right. Get
I'm
in there.
back.
Yeah, him and Turner just storming
Just get there
the field.
for the celebration. Get a little COVID. All
All
right,
right, Sam.
Josh,
Thanks,
Sam,
man.
we'll let you go, buddy.
all right, that was fun, guys.
Yeah, that
Appreciate
was
you having me
great.
on.
Sam
Hope my,
McKee, thank
old
you so
man
much.
I hope my old man takes one or too much for your extremely forward-thinking listeners. So
Far from it.
That's Sam McKee. What's your Twitter, Sam? At Sam A.
Sam A.
McKee.
McKee. Yeah.
At Sam A. McKee. Hear him on the Fan 590. And the Golf Guys. Watch those Golf Guys videos, right?
Yeah.
When's my Golf Guys invite? When do I get to get out there with you guys?
I didn't even. I think I've invited you maybe once or twice for golf, and you didn't come. So you get once or twice. Hey, we're playing tomorrow morning. 8 degrees, 5
Oh my
degrees. Want to
God.
come? Yeah,
No.
you're in. Okay, there you go. That's 3. You're out.
That's Sam McKee, Ben Nixon Smith on Twitter at BNixon Smith. Our producers are Mike Sony and Christian Ryan, and my name is Arden Zwelling. And we will talk to you next time on At the Letters.